Daniel. Daniel Stewart's will is recorded in the Georgia Record of Colonial Wills in the Secretary of State's office. A copy of the volume containing his will is in the special collection of the Brunswick Library, which is where I practice law. He married Susanna Oswald in 1785. They had 6 children. Later he married Sarah Hines Lewis in 1810, had 3 daughters. His father, John Stewart, moved here in 1752, although Daniel was only 16 years old at the time of the Revolution. At that time, he enlisted in Captain Youngblood's company to defend coastal Georgia against the British. He participated in an expedition against a British outpost on the St. Mary's River under Colonel John Baker's command, and later served under Generals Sumter and Francis Marion in Pocatello, South Carolina. About that time, he was captured by the British. He was imprisoned on a prison ship in Charleston Harbor. Either he was rather slender in those days, or the prison ship had large portholes, as he allegedly escaped through a porthole and returned to his unit. After the Revolution, he returned to Liberty County and began a long and distinguished political career. He served in the Georgia House of Representatives for 3 terms, served in the State Senate for 3 terms. He was a member of a committee to draft a letter from the Midway Church and Society to General Washington, when General Washington was in Savannah in 1791. He was delegate to the State Constitutional Convention in 1795. He was commissioner for building and maintaining a county courthouse and jail for Liberty County, and at that time the county seat was in Lashboro. The courthouse and the jail would have been, today, they would have been located where you first turn off to go into the chemical plant off Highway 17. The first entrance to the chemical plant on the other side of the river. He was sheriff of Liberty County for 2 terms and judge of the inferior court for 2 terms. The inferior court would be what the state court is now. During that period, despite the Treaty of New York and the Treaty of Coleraine, the Creek Indian tribe had gotten restless, and they were burning farms, taking captives, stealing crops and livestock. To combat those depredations, local settlers built stockades and blockhouses and created and relied on local militias for protection. At that time, Stewart was commander of the Liberty County Militia District, and Colonel Josiah Tatnall, both under the command of General James Jackson, led frequent expeditions against the Creek Indians. One anecdote that survives is when General Jackson warned Governor Edward Telfair in May 1793 that 300 Creeks had marched to Baird's Bluff on the Omaha River en route to plunder Liberty County. General Telfair said that Colonel Stewart could handle his situation, as he would not hesitate to engage an enemy 6 times his strength. After Jackson was elected governor and Tatton was elected to the state legislature, Stewart became commander of the 1st Brigade Georgia Militia and was promoted to Brigadier General of Cavalry State Militia in 1809. Just to give you a little sidetrack, his second wife, Susanna Girardeau, had a son, Charles C. Jones, who became a Presbyterian minister and is notable as being one of the principal characters in a book entitled The Children of Pride by Robert Manson Myers. In a book called The Dwelling Place by Erskine Clark, it is recounted that General Stewart, John Jones, a friend of his, and a second friend, James Smith, were frequent hunting companions, and they regularly hunted Cedar Hill, where my family has a farm now. The William Peacock place near North Newport, where Cousin Julie's place is. And Jones's plantation was Rice Hope, which is right about where Sandy Run Road hits US 17. They went out hunting deer on March 26, 1805 on horseback. Jones was thrown from his horse, suffering internal injuries. He passed away on March 28th. And as a matter of interest, the extended family is still hunting at Porter's in Cedar Hill to this day, 210 years later. Getting back to Stewart, he was named by Governor David Mitchell to deliver a list of stolen property to Colonel Benjamin Hawkins at the Indian Agency on the Flint River. While he was a strict observer of protocol, he and the Indian agent had a pretty bad disagreement on exactly how they should deal with the Indians about stolen property and so forth and so on, but it was resolved to General Stewart's satisfaction. He spent the remainder of his life after resigning his commission in 1817 with his family at Cedar Hill. He died on May 27, 1829, in his 69th year. The general and Charles C. Jones, who I mentioned a short while ago, it turns out that they had made their profession of faith together before the Midway Congregation in 1822. And in May 1829, Charles Jones stood by the general's bed, reminded him of Christ's gracious promises, and watched his father's hunting friend and brother-in-law close his eyes in death. Stewart was buried here in Midway Cemetery, and in 1915, as you just heard, the United States government erected this monument in the center of the cemetery to honor Generals James Screven and Daniel Stewart. A couple of more items of interest. His granddaughter, Stewart's granddaughter, Martha Bullock Roosevelt, was the mother of President Theodore Roosevelt and the grandmother of Eleanor Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt's wife. It is evident that General Stewart played a vital role in the early history of this area, and that his family later played significant roles in the history of this colony. I'm proud to be able to stand here today and talk about the achievements of General Stewart to his family.